Live. What is happening today, this beautiful Friday in San Diego, California? My name is Clinton Young. I'm an international keynote speaker and founder of the Speaker Posse. I coach world-class speakers, and I'm also a freedom lifestyle entrepreneur. That is one of the favorite titles that I have. And I would say I'm a freedom lifestyle entrepreneur in training, because the family that I'm about to introduce you to is absolutely a pro at this, and they're continually learning as well, but they've been on the road for 3.5 years, living all around the world. So if you're out there seeking more freedom, more adventure in your life, definitely, if you're not part of the Club Freedom Live Facebook group, join us there in the Facebook group. Obviously, some of you are watching this in the Facebook group. Also follow my RV journey with my wife and I across the US. It starts in July at Club Freedom Live. But today, we've got a very, very special interview, as I just referenced, and it's with a friend of mine that I've known for the last 5 or so years and his family. And this is an entrepreneurial family that has businesses all around the world, and they're just a regular family though, but they've learned how to travel. They've really cracked the code on traveling the world, living an extraordinary life of rich, full of amazing experiences, homeschooling their children. So if you're out there saying, oh, I can't do that because I have kids, wait till you see this live interview. I'm going to do a little bit of intro here. Welcome to the show. I know some people are joining us already. I've got something I want to read off their website. It says, that they sold it all in November 2017. Okay, so it's been about 3.5 years to experience the world and live life with no regrets, serving others along the way. That sounds juicy. And they hope to be an inspiration to others to show that it's never too late to follow your dreams and create your own ideal lifestyle. So please welcome to the show, the Winging It family. We've got Carrie in the back, Roy in the back, and then we have Sam on the left and Cody on the right of the screen here. Welcome to the show, Winging It family. How are you guys doing today?
Great to be here. Hey. Thanks for having us, Clinton.
Thank you. Oh, it's my pleasure. So where are we coming in from? Sam, where are you guys at right now?
We're in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And Cody, do they call it PV, or am I just making that up? Because I was there a few times.
Yeah.
They call it PV, right?
Yep.
So I sound like a local, or at least somebody that's in the know.
Perfecto.
Woohoo, perfecto. Do you guys speak any Spanish?
Un poco. We're learning.
A little bit.
I should have said that in
You're actually
Espanol.
doing really well. Aprendemos, pero entiendo.
You said you're learning, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. Excellent. Well, it's so cool to have the whole family here. Many of the people that follow the Club Freedom Live show, they've already seen Roy's interview, which we did late last year when you guys were in Singigi, right? You were in Indonesia?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, how long have you been in Mexico?
Since
2 months.
Yeah. Since January.
2 months. All right. What's been your favorite part about Mexico so far? Let's ask the kids first. What would you guys say the favorite part of Mexico?
Tacos.
The food.
Tacos and the food. All right. What about the back row and the cheap seats? What do you guys say? The parents.
You know, I love watching the kids use their Spanish. The people here are so much fun and so sweet. The culture's amazing, but I'm going to say the food is just incredible. Like no other.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's one thing, Clinton, we've missed traveling the world the last 3.5 years, we always say the one thing we missed was good Mexican food, so we are taking advantage of that while we're here. And then also, especially for the kids, letting them immerse themselves in learning their Spanish.
Learning the Spanish, yeah, that's so awesome, so great. Now, you started in San Diego, right? Is that where you were based prior when I first met you, Roy?
Right, yeah.
Okay, and that was November 2017. So we're gonna go to the back row and ask the parents here a question first. I got plenty of questions for the kiddos though, so we'll come back to you in a sec. So my question is, for those people out there that are seeking more freedom and adventure and just a better, more fulfilling lifestyle, like I would imagine was going on in your life back in 2017. You were seeking something. What was it that you were seeking? I might have just hit some of the words, possibly not. And what was it that had you say, yes, that we're going?
You know, for me, Clinton, I remember coming to Cary one day and just, you know, we wanted to get more quality time as a family. You know, I've worked a lot of hours in the past, and we just said, gosh, you know, there is so much more to life than working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. We're brought up with this mindset that we go to school, we get a job, we get a vacation a year, and then when you retire, then you can have this semblance of this incredible life. And we wanted to break that mold of thinking, go, wait a second, why can't we have an incredible life now? Why can't we travel and experience now? Why can't we have an amazing adventure with our kids now, rather than going with the traditional way of thinking how we're brought up? And for me, I just remember going to Cary one day and just asking her, gosh, you know, what if we just sold it all and let's just go out and experience the world? And what was your answer?
Yeah.
I said yes. I didn't even have to think about it.
Really?
I think
Yeah.
you said, when can we leave?
I said,
Why is that,
really,
Carrie?
I can be gone by tomorrow. Give me 24
Wow.
hours.
That's amazing. You know, and that's a testament. I've been married for going on 13 years now, and that's a testament to both of you. And I know it's not like this in all marriages, but you clearly have similar values, right? Because if I know some people out there, you know, they have, you know, a spouse maybe that doesn't value whether it's freedom or adventure or whatever it is that has you say yes to travel and traveling around the world and having a little bit of a life of, there's a little bit of uncertainty there, right? But also excitement and adventure. So it's kudos to you guys. Do you have something you want to share?
We actually started homeschooling the kids 4 or 5 years ago. So we were always pulling the kids out of school to go
Right.
travel, whether it's Canada, Mexico, the Philippines, wherever we were going, we'd always pull the kids out of school. And I'd always go to their teachers and say, do you mind if we pull the kids out for a month or 3 weeks or 6 weeks? And they're like, that's the best education they can ever get. We've never, ever had an issue with any teacher, any principal ever in their whole time that they were going to a regular traditional school. And then when we started homeschooling and Roy was working online, there was nothing holding us back. I mean, we were traveling anyway. We just didn't sell it all and commit to it like this.
Right.
And then Clinton, one this other final point on that for our kids, you know, one thing that we wanted to do, especially for the kids, was have them experience the world and people and cultures and other societies before social media, the news, politics, anything that could kind of sway them. So we were really excited that they get to experience other people and cultures and make up their own minds and their own decisions and really experience it from a personal perspective rather than what we get sometimes in society or on the news or what have not. So
that's great. And Cody, what was your initial thinking? Like, try to bring yourself back to 3.5 years ago. What did you feel in your body, and what did you think when your parents said, Cody, we're thinking about taking off?
I was ready.
You were ready?
It got me excited, yeah.
Okay. What were you most excited about?
A lot of things. Experiencing new places, foods, adventures, people, cultures.
Awesome. And Sam, what about you? What was your feeling when you were first told?
I had mixed feelings about it.
Okay.
Because I had all my friends and everything and all my connections, and I like to stay in one place.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
She's kind of grown along the way.
So now let's fast forward to where we are now. What would you have? Are you glad that you did it, kiddos? Are you guys glad
100%.
that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way.
And
Really?
how many friends have you made around the world now? Close friends.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I really love watching is some of the cool things that you, Sam, and Cody get to do that most kids will potentially never do in their lives, right? If you really think about it, like some people don't ever leave the United States. And you guys are, how old are you now, Cody and Sam?
14.
In 12.
14 and 12. You've seen more countries than probably most of the United States population has seen. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. And that's
is.
a pretty amazing. Talk about schooling. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow. So one of the things I love watching are some of the cool things you get to do, like being a chef. I saw that, I think it was in Bali, perhaps at a Hyatt, or not a Hyatt, a Marriott. You guys stay at a lot of Marriotts, right? Was that where you were at? Was it in Bali when you did the chef experience?
Was that
somewhere
that
else?
was in Bali, right?
One of the places. He said
That's one of the
places.
places. Yeah.
More than one place.
One of the Protea, the Marriott hotels. We were in South Africa, in George, and they let him work with a pastry chef one time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sammy, she loves sushi, so they opened the restaurant up to them, and they got to literally work as a sushi chef. And they had this whole area, and they were full on making sushi for us. Yeah, it was
That is so cool.
So, but yeah, then in Bali they got to do it, and then we just did a cooking class here as well.
Really?
Well,
So
we did a tamale making class, which is a whole other experience. It's amazing. It takes the whole day to do that. And then we did a chocolate factory one time. So yeah,
Oh my goodness. So what has been your favorite kind of experience like that, where you get to do, I'm going to ask you later your favorite overall excursion, but I'm talking more about the being the pastry chef, working with them. I also saw that you were working with a DJ, music production. And Sammy, I want to hear from you as well. What has been your favorite for the kids? What's been your favorite experience, one of those side things that you've done?
Sammy, you want to go first?
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
So like favorite experience?
No,
Yeah.
but like,
I guess you could just we could just go into the global experiences. What's been one of your favorite locations? Let's just move to that. What's been one of your favorite locations you've been in?
I loved Fuerteventura. It's the Canary Islands.
What is it called? Say that again, Cody.
Fuerteventura.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
And you're 14 and you're telling me something. I've never even heard of that place.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. What did you like about it?
It's nice. Yeah, I learned to surf there. And drive.
Wow.
What else? There's
just a beautiful. It's a little island off the coast of Africa. It belongs to Spain.
Oh, really?
And it is amazing. But we had just a lot of fun there, between surfing, going to the beach, doing just all kinds of beach activities. Mm-hmm. Lots of cool people from around the world.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely a great one. What about you, Sam, as far as favorite place?
Bali.
Bali. Tell me about Bali, Sam. I've been there as well. I have been there, but tell me about what you liked about it.
We were just settled there for a long time, and I got to do gymnastics, which I really like to do.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah.
You're in gymnastics class. So.
Yeah, and they had surfing there too.
Surfing there. So you like surfing as well?
Yeah.
Nice. I was telling your mom, I surfed on my birthday a few years ago for the first time, and it was so hard. Like, I got up, and it was like the coolest experience I'd ever felt. Like, surfing on a wave is so cool, but it was so taxing on my body. When I was done, I literally, I kind of felt a little bit sick because I was so worn out. Do you guys get really tired? You have more energy than I do, I'm sure.
Totally, no.
And let's go to the parents.
Your favorite place?
Yeah, what's your favorite place, Carrie?
One of our favorite. Mine was being in Egypt, and the reason is because we had an amazing experience that a lot of people don't get to experience. So we went to Giza, the popular pyramids that you usually see in posters and stuff, but we got to go to Shakira, this one place where the pyramids they were the first pyramids. What the tourists don't see, and they were 7,000 years old, and we got to ride these Arabian horses around them. And so that was one of our favorites. And what was so neat is the kids happened to be doing a unit in school about the pyramids. So that was really fun. Another time we were in Rome, and they were learning about the Colosseum, and we were on our way to the Colosseum. So
oh my goodness!
Really cool. So little things like that, but but as far as beaches and island, I would say the Maldives.
The Maldives. Tell me about the Maldives, Carrie. What did you like about them?
Oh my gosh! We went there. We started in India, and then we did that journey. Then we went to the Maldives, And we should have saved that for last because we compare all beaches and all islands in the Maldives. There's nothing like it. It's flat, white sand beaches. The water is crystal clear. I never thought we can beat Bora Bora or Tahiti area, but the Maldives is just a class on its own.
Wow. And Roy, we are coming to you in 1 sec. I want to get your feedback on this, but about the Maldives, and this again is really just a mention for the kids. It's an acknowledgement that you got to see the Maldives. I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard, and this could not be true potentially, but I've heard that with global warming and with the rising waters, that eventually the Maldives will be gone, like inaccessible. Is that true? Have you heard that as well?
Yeah.
They're saying 50 years.
Yeah.
50?
You know,
50?
That's what we heard.
Yeah.
Wow. And you got to see them. So kudos to you. And hopefully we can reverse that crazy global warming stuff. So Roy, over to you. What's been one of your favorite? Now, I know it's hard to choose for all of you because you're like, whenever somebody asks me what's your favorite vacation or what's your favorite place that you've traveled to, I always say the next one, whatever the next one is, because I'm always either living my current adventure or creating my next one. That's kind of one of my wife and my mantras for Club Freedom. So Roy, what would you say is one of your favorite places?
You know, like you said there, Clinton, it's really hard. And, you know, a lot of times we equate our favorite to the beauty of the place or the experience, but we have met so many amazing, fascinating people around the world. And so I don't know if I can say one is more favorite than the other. If something comes to my mind is from a scenery and experiential part would be South Africa. I really, really enjoyed Cape Town and South Africa and the garden route. So for me, you know, not that I really enjoyed that more than others, but that comes to the top of mind when you talk about favorite places to go to.
What is the garden route? Is that what you said?
The garden route is a travel route. It kind of be like, you know, if you're going from Southern California up to Northern California, you take the PCH and you get this beautiful route along the way. This is kind of their version along the southern coast. Really? And it is absolutely breathtaking. So it goes from like Cape Town over to George, and I forget the other areas we went to, but it was just amazingly beautiful and something. If you ever go to South Africa, you definitely want to do the garden route without question.
You know, I've been to South Africa twice, and for some crazy reason, I did not make it to Cape Town. I flew into Johannesburg, and we went north to Pilanesberg, I think they call it. And that is like kind of in the center between Joburg and Botswana, right about in the center. And there's amazing, amazing reserves up there. And we stayed basically did 2 safaris. But we didn't get down to Cape Town, and I'm so kicking myself. If you're just joining us, I'm here with the Winging It family who's been traveling full time for 3.5 years with a family during COVID. And I'm about to ask you some COVID questions and some of the unique experiences that you've actually been able to have because of COVID that you would never, ever, ever be able to have in a million years. And one in particular, I saw you literally in an amusement park. I think you might have been in, where was it again? Dubai. Dubai, where there was nobody in the entire park because it was during COVID, and it was you. It was borderline creepy, not going to lie to you, watching the video, because it was like nobody there. I was just waiting for someone to jump out, like zombies to jump out from behind the wall. But it was just you. So that's a very unique experience. So tell me about what it's been like to travel during COVID for anyone out there that thinks that they can't travel. Obviously, there's some restrictions, but you're able to do it still. You're in Mexico now. So talk to us.
It is more of a challenge. You have to do the swab test or the PCR test. You have to do that. You have to, you know, and a lot of countries are closed off. However, with that being said, when we were in Bali, we were in lockdown for a little while, but then when they opened up, you know, as long as we kept clean, the social distancing and the mask, we got to see places in Bali that normally you would have to have, there would be a line to get a picture or take a look at. So that was incredible.
You know, right now during COVID, of course you have to be careful and whatnot, but from a travel perspective, the experience probably will never get to have an experience like this again. Like Carrie was saying in Bali, we got to experience Bali in a way nobody has ever experienced, with no people, no lines, nobody around, And normally you have 3, 4, 5, 6 hour queues in some of these places. So that was amazing. The other perspective from an expense standpoint, the amazing deals you have right now or have had over this past year from an affordability standpoint. I'll give you an example of where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We are staying in an incredible place that normally we wouldn't be in this type of place, but it's a 2,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 3-bath penthouse condo on the beach overlooking the water. Unbelievable, but normally would rent for $400 or $500 a night. And we are renting this for $90 a day.
What?
And it's the most spectacular place. And same thing even when we were in Indonesia, just from an affordability standpoint right now. And even moving forward, I think for the unforeseeable future, what you can experience at a really reasonable cost that you maybe couldn't otherwise, it's really a golden opportunity. Whether it's domestic or abroad, it's just there's some really opportunities there for you and your family to experience.
That's great. Yeah. And
it's
if
the
anybody,
same time to travel right now, as far as, from what we've seen, we've had planes to ourselves, commercial flights where everybody has not just their own row, but literally their own section. We can all sprawl out. Just very few. We don't even have to, we wouldn't have to worry about being upgraded to first class because that would be a downgrade because we'd get a whole section to ourselves. So, and then hotels are really good right now about upgrading us. Marriott's been great to us anyway, but as far as upgrades, they've given us the world basically. So
Got it.
So it is a good time to travel because there's hardly anybody out there, and as long as you follow the protocol, we've always had really good experience the past year anyway.
Yeah, that's great. So now you had already been homeschooling your kids for a few years prior to taking off. I believe I heard you say that earlier. What has been the biggest, because I'm sure it's not all sugar plums and cherry blossoms, right? What's been one of the biggest challenges from a schooling perspective, or has that just been easier because you have a lot more kind of material to work with, if you will?
Yeah, we school in a lot of places. Maybe Wi-Fi.
Ah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Have to have a good connection. Have to have a good Wi-Fi connection.
Okay. What's it like to do schooling? Go ahead.
The kids do year-round school because we take surf days or we take, these killer field trips to go
Right.
surfing, or we go, we go to amusement parks. So we do cooking classes. So we take a lot of time off during the year throughout, but they don't have a 3-month off vacation. So going to school year-round has been great. And they're both due to graduate at age 16. And then they continue on with their entrepreneur journey.
What's it been like as the parents, the teachers? What are you guys teaching, or do they do it online? I don't know much about homeschooling. Okay, it's like Carrie.
They do it all online, and at first it was really hands-on, guiding them and stuff. But now they've been doing it for about 4 years, so I've really been able to take a step back. I still grade their papers, and we're all at the table together doing their work. But for the most part, they're self-motivated. They take breaks when they need to. It's just been a blessing to us. So and they're both straight A kids. Legitimately, they're doing great. They're both very self-motivated, like I said, and they're smart and bright. And like I said, if we need a day to take a break, then we take a break for the day. We have school ditch days. So
that's great.
Where have you guys actually? Because Carrie does a fantastic job on the homeschool part. We're actually starting businesses for them, so I'm helping them to start their first businesses. But where have you guys also gone to school? In what countries where you've actually?
The Philippines.
Where you actually get to spend a little bit of time actually in a classroom for a short time and experience that. And
What was that like, Cody?
It was nice. Well, we haven't been like a regular school for like a few years and years, so it's definitely.
What did the girls in your class ask you to?
Well.
Is he blushing? What did they ask you, Cody?
But I mean, what did they ask you to do? They pinned it. What did they ask you to choose?
Which one was prettier?
Oh.
And there was what?
There was like 8 of them.
Yeah,
It had no way to escape.
So
Yeah,
and
that's a
Sammy,
hard.
in your class in the Philippines, did you enjoy that?
Yeah,
She was signing autographs because
because all the kids in my class had watched YouTube, so they
Nice.
had to give them autograph. And I got
You're
them.
famous.
Yeah.
That's
And then
great.
also, what about the school in Malaysia? Was that a cool school that we
That was
went to?
cool. Yeah.
So there was an incredible, one of the top entrepreneurial schools in the world
Right.
that we got to go and experience, and we got to visit with the 8-year-old girl who was already a millionaire, who created a
Yeah.
business at 8 years old and was already making millions of dollars at 8 years old. So
Woo! That's totally possible. And if anyone's just joining us, I know somebody just joined. We're with the Winging It family. They're in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and they've been traveling the world for 3.5 years. Totally inspiring, living what I like to call the freedom lifestyle. And I know that they are definitely lifestyle entrepreneurs. So we're talking about what it's like for the schooling and being in these different cultures. I studied the cultural adjustment process that people go through when they get sent overseas on an assignment. That's what I studied in graduate school. So I definitely know some of the experiences that you probably have gone through, but I'm curious if you could share a little bit about, especially the kids, like how has this experience shaped your perspective on just the world, or even on yourself, or on what it's like to be from the United States? Because I know, I'll give you one example. I'll give you a chance to think about that. When I went overseas for the first time, I lived in Brazil for about 3 months. And then the next summer in grad school, I lived in Singapore. And I found that I went and I felt like I was a square, right? To give you just an example. And when I came back, I was more like an oval, right? And I saw the world a little bit differently. And I saw the United States a little differently, right? And I saw everything just a little bit differently. Like it shapes us. It kind of changes our perspective on life, and I felt like it expanded my perspective. So I'm curious, from a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old perspective, like what has shifted for you, either about how you think about yourself or the world or your family or whatever you're thinking. What would you say? Sam, why don't we start with you this time? You're doing great, by the way. You're doing great. You got an A so far in the speaking class, both of you.
Okay, good. Probably.
You got it. Cody, you can jump in if you want as well. I was just one ladies first.
Is very different from the U.S. Just seeing what you can do, like apart from the U.S., like how much more you can experience. It's kind of hard to put in the word. You could probably explain it better than me.
You're doing great. You're doing great. The parents can chime in as well, because you've gone through the same experience. Everybody can chime in on this.
So we're gonna circle back to you because I want you to answer this because there's some good things that you can share. One of the things is appreciating the little things in life. When we were living in San Diego, we were living in Temecula actually, and we had all this stuff. We had toys, we had a washing machine, a dryer, a dishwasher, a pillow, like little things. And now when you're on the road, just to do laundry, to get the exact change if I'm going to do it myself or just send it up. Every time we go someplace, the laundry is a big issue for me. And so little things I took for granted. I had all these shoes and handbags, just like a lot of people in America. We have so much stuff, and now we have so few things. We have one suitcase each, and that's it. And then we carry a backpack when we travel with our electronics and cameras and stuff. But I have so few things, and I literally feel like I have too much. I have like 5 t-shirts, a couple pairs of jean shorts, a couple swimsuits. Like I need to declutter. So little things like that, I've learned to appreciate the simple things. Now, when I go to America, you see people driving in their own car. I haven't driven a car in going on 4 years. I haven't even, So we take buses or trains or, whatever we need to do to get around, Uber or Grab. But just appreciating the simple things in life. And when I do have a washer and dryer, because we have one now, I just think that, it's like I just won the lottery.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. And I am like craving that experience of having less things. Not that I don't enjoy, the comforts of having, conveniences, but there's something to be said. Every time I move, we will go through everything and just get rid of as much as possible and really give it away and get it back into circulation. And it's amazing the freedom that gives you. And I'm curious if you experience a sense of freedom with actually having less things.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's like weight being taken off of our shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, on that, Clint, we were back in the States just for 2 weeks briefly when we left Indonesia, and then we took off again. But we stopped to visit some good friends of us, and they had a bunch of questions for us. And one of their questions was, okay, what is it that you miss most about having given everything up?
I love that. Go ahead. Give me the answer to that one.
All of us had to pause and really think about what that was, and we really had a hard time identifying anything.
Wow.
So it was fascinating when we got that question out of the blue and had to think, wow, gave up there's nothing really that we miss. And when you talk about the freedom you have in your life, it's really hard to express into words what that feels like. Because truly there wasn't anything really substantial or tangible that we even thought like, wow, what is it? Because we have everything that we need now. And one thing I wanted to circle back for Sammy that she could share about how has it changed her. Have you seen Sam, meeting all these people around the world and all the friends you've made, the kids you played with? Are they any different than you are?
No.
No, I mean, they kind of share your experience. I mean, they just want to have fun. They just, maybe share your experience a little bit with all the kids you've met, as far as they want to have fun. They just want to do things. It's just like you're meeting girlfriends in the States. So has that been a little bit of a surprise how easy it's been to make friends traveling around the world?
Yeah. Tell me about one of your friends that you've met, Sam.
Let's start in the Philippines.
I have a friend in the Philippines who is the daughter of the general manager at a hotel.
Okay.
And she would come over a lot, and we would have sleepovers at a hotel room.
Very cool. What's her name?
Her name's Justine.
Justine? Cool. We're the same age as you, approximately? Or yeah?
You just made a good friend in Bali. Say a little bit about her.
Oh yeah, I have a friend in Bali named Sequoia, and we did gymnastics together, and
some boat trips, and she was a good friend.
And they're
Very
also
cool.
nomads. They travel around the world too, so we have a lot in common with them. They have a son, and then the husband and wife, so that was fun. And then also, what about here in Puerto Vallarta? You met somebody that you went ice skating with, and we did a chocolate excursion with.
And I have a friend here named Maddie, and we did ice skating with them and did the chocolate factory with them.
And they're also nomads, and they're getting
Wow.
ready to leave, which is kind of weird because usually we're the people leading.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to move on to their next destination. So I think we're going to follow them and hang out with them for a little bit.
Nice. What a cool experience to really see that everybody is very, very similar all around the world. That's such a cool experience to have as a young person, really as anybody at any age. But that's super cool. So congratulations. And I love that. So I've got a couple more questions here for you. What has been like the thing that you thought was going to be really important that you packed early on that was not important and you got rid of? And then what's the thing that you had no clue was going to be important and you quickly picked up after you were out for the first year or so?
That's another great question.
Yeah.
Okay, while you're thinking about that, somebody just joined us. I just want to let you know we're here with the Winging It family in Puerto Vallarta. They've been traveling for 3.5 years and building business and literally living a freedom lifestyle. So go ahead. What's that thing that you thought was super important when you first packed and realized it totally was not? And then the vice versa, the thing that you just need to have now.
Well, yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, well, at first, you think you need all the stuff to travel. It's like, okay, you said this before, like, I need my stuff. Like a ton of clothes,
Right.
video games, whatever.
Yeah.
And then once you start traveling, it's like, do I really need all this? Yeah, the more you just let go of, the better it gets. And I picked up a guitar. So honestly, that's been pretty nice even to travel around with.
So you have a guitar now?
Yeah.
We just got
I
it
just
last
got
month,
it last
2
month.
months ago.
Wow. And you travel with that. Wow. Okay. Do you think you'll continue to carry that as you keep
Definitely.
going?
Yeah. Since
Okay.
I've in the U.S. I've played the clarinet, the saxophone, piano, and now guitar.
Wow. And I noticed you're also, I'm a former DJ, so I noticed
Yeah.
that you are also learning DJing.
Yeah, that too.
Did you already get a gig?
I already had a gig.
DJ gig.
Yeah, at our hotel that we were staying at.
That's so cool.
That was fun.
All right. Sammy, if you want to share anything as well, like what was something maybe you thought was going to be important, or the parents can answer this as well. And you just realize, wow, it's really not that important.
My stuffed animals.
Really?
Yeah, I had a lot of them, and then I got from like 20 to 10. So
20 that you carry 20 and you still have 10? Wow.
yeah,
That's awesome.
It's funny because she has one. We all have one suitcase. I'm like, you have to have some shoes. You have to have, some clothes. So you have to have a few things. But more than probably 80% of her suitcase was stuffed animals.
That is so funny.
She's gotten better.
Okay. Anything parents wise, what would you say was not important that you thought was?
Well, for me, I have a little bit of business and stuff I have to do, Clinton, and occasionally a speaking event or what have not. But I thought it would be important that I had a nice pair of dress shoes, nice pair of slacks, and a couple of nice shirts just for.
Yeah.
And I we have limited room in our suitcase, so I've found that I don't need those. I've been in flip flop for 365 days, even some of my speaking stuff now. And so now if I go somewhere, I could just buy a shirt and slacks and then just donate it. So I don't need that. One thing I will say, though, that I thought we would need, and thankfully we have it, is a power strip where you can plug in multiple things at one time, especially when you have a family of 4. That was really important. And we have used that immensely on extra chargers. But that was one thing that I'm like, we might need a power strip. And thank goodness we have that. And then obviously your travel converters in regard to that as well. So anything for you that?
the blow.
Yeah, the glow comes in.
Probably clothes, because I love fashion. I always have. I love clothes and shoes and makeup and all that really stuff. And I carried it around with me for a couple countries. I'm like, what am I doing? So I ended up just donating all that stuff. But probably clothes. But the one thing that I figured that I really do need is good camera gear. So I just got a new phone, a GoPro's important. Cody's got his drone. We have that kind of stuff to document things. Because when we go back in the pictures, I'm going through the old photos, and I've forgotten how many things that we've done. So I'm so glad that we're documenting everything, because it's so important. We're living in the moment and the day, and trying to live our best life every day. But then when you go back, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we've done this, or oh, I forgot about the time that we did this. And it's huge things like bathing elephants, or doing having dolphin experiences, or doing all these amazing things. It's like, oh my gosh, how can I forget that was just 2 years ago, or that was just last year? So documenting things is important.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. So when you choose a new location and you arrive, like you just arrived in Mexico a couple months ago, what is your acclimation process? What is your routine? What do you do first? Do you find that you do kind of a routine every time you come into a new location? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, we
check out the area.
check out the area.
Yeah, we check out.
How do you do that? Do you walk or?
Yeah, we usually just walk around the area to see what food options we have and what things we can do.
We've done the hop on, hop off bus. That's kind of a fun thing that we've done.
Yeah.
One thing we found, because we do Marriotts and a mixture of Airbnbs and other types of stays, is that you can't trust most of these sites like an Airbnb or what have not, because you can come up to some incredible surprises. It looks fantastic on the site. So we like to generally check into a Marriott or what have not, stay for a little bit, and then make sure if we're going to move somewhere else that we see it firsthand.
Got it.
Because we tend to do long stays, and the same thing here. We came here, we stayed in Marriott for a couple of weeks, checked out the area. What are the good parts of Puerto Vallarta? Where do we not want to be? What kind of opportunities we have, and then we lock ourselves for a longer term stay. So one of the things we like to do up front, because what in Indonesia, how many Airbnbs did we look at? And we would go look at them, we're like, oh my gosh, thank God we didn't rent that.
Yeah, we stayed in the Marriott the whole time.
Really?
So,
Yeah. That's great that you have that kind of partner in Marriott, or at least, obviously they have a good rewards program, I'm sure. You guys are top of the
they
list.
do. And one other thing I just wanted to mention, whenever we do a lot of research before, Clinton, before we go somewhere. And Cody mentioned Fuerteventura. And remember, we were getting ready to leave Madrid. We were in Madrid, and we're trying, where are we going to go next? And usually it involves time of the year, high season, low season, affordability, opportunity. And we'll go into Google Flights a lot, and you can pull up a map of the entire world, and it will give you pricing from where you're at to any spot at any given time in the world. And we were in Madrid, and I was telling Cody, I said, check this place out. It's only $100 to fly down to this place called Fuerteventura. I never heard of Fuerteventura. And then so we pulled up Fuerteventura. We're like, wow, that looks like an incredible place. So we pulled up places to stay, and we're like, wait a second, we get a condo on the beach for $50 a day. Well, wow, okay. And then we pulled up, and I can rent a car for $10 a day. And we pulled up all the reviews, and we're like, this is amazing. So we sent a message over to Carrie, and they were out shopping, and I said, what do you think about going to Fuerteventura? And so point being, though, we do a lot of research before we go somewhere. And, we never usually know from one time to the next where we're going to go next. But when we decide where we're going to go, we have a pretty good idea overall what that place is like and where we might want to stay and what have not. So.
Got it. So that was actually my next question. You led right into it beautifully. So when you choose your next location, you said you use this tool, which I've heard of Google Flights, but there's a map feature on there that you can look at different price points all around the world from wherever you're at.
So you can pop in, we just pop in one way, so it's not a round trip pricing. And you put in your destination where you're at currently. And then you can put in a data we have that it will pop up a global map, and it will show the prices to anywhere in the world. And so you can get some ideas at any given time, like, oh, wow, this would be cost here to go here. And so it's a great overview to take a peek at. So we use that quite a bit.
Got it. And then you said, do you follow the sun typically? Do you try to stay in the warmer climates for the most part? Or what are some of the other parameters you use to choose your next location?
We do. We tend to gravitate towards warmer areas. We love the beach. We ended up going to a snowy area at one point because of just the way we were led. So we ended up so we had to hurry up and scramble and get some warm clothes. But for the most part, wherever we go, we have so few clothes that if place is chillier, then we get a jacket, and then when we leave or we get to a warmer destination, we just donate it. So
got it. What's it been like acclimating to the new cultures because you've experienced a lot of different cultures, and I'm assuming what's your average length of stay in most locations? Would you say, is there an average?
We try to do 1 to 3 months.
1 to 3 months. So that's a decent amount of time. Now, in the cultural adjustment process, a lot of times 1 to 3 months, you're still in what they call the honeymoon phase, where you're not as impacted by the cultural differences. And then you start to notice them and realize, wait a minute, they do things a little differently. Now, you've been traveling for 3.5 years, so you might notice them faster. But I'm curious, what's it been like to adjust to the different cultures? And what do you do to do that? Do you immerse yourself in the culture? Do you kind of hang back in a bubble? What do you do?
You try to dive in.
Yeah.
What has helped you guys? Because we have stayed at a lot of Marriotts over the time. So when we talk about learning about the culture and experience, what have we done? Who have we gotten to know that has really helped us to immerse?
Some of the hotel staff. Yeah.
So
tell me about that.
Would be that we love about staying at, and that's a topic for another day at the Marriott, is we get to know the staff very well.
Yeah.
And we get to go visit their homes. We get to go experience things that we would never even know about. So that's one thing we do love about that avenue. For instance, Sammy, what did we get to do in Bali with Tony, front office manager? Yeah. He took us to
He
His
took
house.
us to his home.
His home, and-
Yeah.
Up in these hills, and it was incredible.
We had lunch with his family, and
That's
then what
so
about,
cool.
What about Wheaties? What about Wheatie, the restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
We-
Yeah,
we-
we would hang out with them, and we'd go to their houses, and they'd cook. And
What about, and share about, like, so this point on that is we really get to dive in quickly and experience local cultures with the staff. And Carrie, you share a little bit about, like going over Wheatie's house.
Yeah, it was amazing. So one of the things like Roy was saying, we get to know the staff because we're there for so long. So even though 1 to 3 months doesn't seem like a long time, but then when they know that we're going to be there a while, they open up a little bit. And anyhow, we've been invited to several people's homes, and we get to go to their village. And I got to learn what his mom was doing, and the job she has, and the culture, and how they do their laundry, how they cook. They've invited us to cook with them different areas, and we did this in India as well. We got to go to some friend's house and got to cook with them. And there's nothing like being tourist stuff's fun, and we do a lot of the touristy stuff too. But when you get to know the locals and they invite you into their home, there's nothing like it. So
Yeah.
a lot of times we never did learn Balinese, the Indonesian language.
Yeah.
So there was a huge language barrier, but it never slowed us down or stopped us. Here we happen to know the language of Spanish, so it's a lot easier. But no, we've been into some areas where the communication's like sign language, body language, but
Yeah.
it always works out, and it's always so fun.
And then also, like, we tend to try, well, we haven't recently because of the COVID, but we try to tend to get involved with some of the churches where we go to as well. And give Cody a perspective. What did you do in Panama when we were?
oh, I went on was it 4 days?
Yeah.
A 4-day trip with the whole church group. And we went to this one campsite, kind of, like a few hours away, and it was just really fun to be in a foreign country and experience something like that.
That's so cool.
So a youth group, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
To get that local perspective, that local experience, that's another thing that, like, most travelers don't see those kinds of things because they'll stay at the Marriott and they'll just stay at the Marriott and they won't actually get to know the staff and then build relationships. And all of a sudden you're having dinner at this cool place in the middle of the hills of Bali that you never would have accessed, so that's super cool. We're winding down here. Are you guys okay for a couple more quick questions? What would you say are some travel hacks? You've already mentioned a tool, which was really useful, the Google Flights tool with the map. Any other travel hacks that you would say to get either cheap accommodations or cheap flights, or anything else you want to share around tools or travel hacks? I know you've already shared some, but.
One thing, Clinton, that we've used a lot is many times when you're going to a country, they require you to show an outbound ticket. So, and how do you get around that if you don't know when you're going to leave? So one of the things that we have used very successfully is something called one-way fly. And basically what that allows you to do is we'll buy a one-way ticket somewhere, but then you can go on a one-way fly, and basically it allows you for like $12 to rent an outbound ticket, so that when you're checking into the airport, you can actually show proof that you have an outbound ticket. And knock on wood, it has worked every single time for us. So that would be something, because many times you just don't know when you're going to leave in regard to that. So
that's a huge hack. Oh my goodness. That's great. It's called one-way fly.
One-way fly. And then any other?
There's a few of them. The kids have taken different classes around the world, whether it's gymnastics or music class or DJ class or any type of class that they've done. And I pull up Facebook groups in that area if I know that we're going to be there 1 to 3 months. So I'll pull up like right now, it's called Everything You Need to Know About Puerto Vallarta. So I join this Facebook group, and that's when we've met so many people and so many friends is through this. And you got to kind of put yourself out there and ask questions. Otherwise, people don't know that you're going to be there for a long amount of time. They might think that you're just going to be there a couple days, and then you just want to do touristy stuff. But if you're going to be somewhere, put yourself out there, and even though you might feel vulnerable, just go, look, hey, I'm looking for, the local things to do. And 90% of the time, actually 99% of the time, they're like, oh my gosh, there's this place, it's out of the way, let me take you there. And it's amazing how friendly people are, and they'll take you to some of the most amazing spots that we would have never have seen if we were just looking at,
Yeah.
what to do in this certain area. But
totally. One of the biggest things. one of the biggest things that I learned, obviously a lot more getting a graduate degree in this topic of cultural adjustment and emotional intelligence, is one of the best ways to adjust, to culturally adjust, is to go out and be with the locals. So you're doing exactly what they say to do to these corporate executives get flown all around the world, and they move their families over to China, for example, to open up a plant. They say, do not stay in the bubble, especially the spouse maybe that is not working or that's taking care of kids, because the person that's working is in kind of a bubble of the US company, if you will, working inside of the organization. But the family is out there getting groceries and they're out there like immersing themselves. And it can be challenging sometimes, but it's so cool that you are diving headlong into that, building relationships, because it just makes it easier to adjust. Exactly. It's survival, and it's probably more fun too, right? Than just hanging out in a bubble and not doing anything with the local. So super cool. I'm glad you guys are doing that. Now, who's the slowest packer? I have to ask that. Who's the slowest packer?
Yeah.
Sam, it's you. Not that you have a lot to pack, although you got a lot of stuffed animals. You gotta wrangle the animals in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Last question I have for you is, and I kind of have two more questions. One might be better served for another day, and it's really probably more for Roy. I don't know if everyone is doing some level of work, but I know, Roy, you have some businesses. I don't know a lot about Carrie and the rest of the family as far as the business side of things. But one of the things my wife and I were thinking about and planning for our trip is to try to compartmentalize as much work into 1 week out of a month as possible. Not that we won't be doing anything the rest of the time, but to try to have all of our conference calls or all of our coaching calls, et cetera, inside of a week, so that we could make sure we have internet for that week. And then maybe the other times because we're going to be in an RV, right? We'll be off maybe in the Grand Canyon or places where there wouldn't be as good of internet. So I'm curious, do you find yourself compartmentalizing any work, or do you just make it work wherever you're at any time during the month? Does that question make sense?
Completely. The three of us just make it work.
Okay.
If we didn't have good internet service, then we would take some time off until we were able to find something. So the three of the kids and I will be fine. Whatever the situation, we can make do.
Okay. What about you, Roy?
For my business, it's I won't say we so much compartmentalize in the most part. I get to choose my hours for the most part, and work as little or as much as I want. Right now, we've got a lot of busy stuff going on, so I'm busy with work right now, but don't always have to be. So I don't know that we compartmentalize, with the kids with school, I try to, pair my work up with when they're doing their school.
That makes sense.
So that we can have, more free time and what have not. One thing is, as people think, can they do this? Is that really something I can do? Is this a pipe dream? Or, hey, yeah, this family did it. You do have to plan for it. Right. And you have to plan how you're going to put that together. You got to determine, okay, first of all, how much money do I need to earn? How many hours do I want to work? And that's what I call your lifetime number. It's also kind of like the value of your time. And so if you take that number, you think about it, and you say, I need to earn this amount, I'm willing to work this many hours, divide that into each other, it's going to give you a number of what your time is worth. Right. And then you need to start charting, what do I need to start doing to get to that number? Or maybe this is the number you've got to hit before you can do this. You've got to start thinking about, okay, each month, am I reaching my goal? Am I reaching my goal to get to that lifestyle number so that I can afford to do this? So for us, we planned for about 10 months before we took off. So we made the decision, and in 10 months, okay, if we're going to do this, what are the things that need to happen? Right. I'm going to be giving up a lot of income also. But what kind of lifestyle, what kind of hours do we want to have to work? What kind of income are we going to need? Let's start getting all the things in place. And it took us about 10 months to get it all dialed in and then actually be able to take off. And then, by the way, just one little tip and trick that we did. How do you not chicken out?
Yes. I know the answer to this one, but I want to hear you say it.
So how do you not chicken out? So you decide you want to do this, you're all excited. And even us, we're like, we're about 6 months. We're like, okay, are we really doing this? We're saying we're doing this. So what we decided to do is like, let's just tell everybody
Yeah.
what we're doing. You know, let's just start and say, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do. Even Clint, when you and I met for the first time, I know I was talking about this. I don't know if I was 100% sure yet we were still going to do it, but we were telling everybody. So, you know, it got to the point like, well, we have to try it because we've been telling everybody we're going to do it. So, little trip, if you're really serious, just start telling everybody you're going to do it. It will force you into action.
I love it. And I remember you saying that on our interview late last year. And I've told everybody, like everybody knows that we are taking off in an RV in July. We have so much to do between now and then. And, you know, if it gets pushed a couple weeks, I don't know, but I don't think it will. We already have reservations. I booked reservations July 14th, you know, so, and I've told everybody we've got Club Freedom Live going. So that's great advice. And I just put on the screen here for any viewers that are watching this back, some great tips and tricks on how to create the lifestyle business of your dreams and be able to do this travel lifestyle right now. I love you said something, and I actually highlighted it in the little teaser video for the interview I did with you, Roy. And it was, I'm going to hopefully get this right. And if not, you can clean it up. But you said, create a business that fits your lifestyle versus trying to cram your lifestyle around your business. You said something like that, and it was really brilliant. Would you expand on that at all, or did I say that right?
Exactly. I mean, that's what we try to specialize helping others, Clinton, where lots of people will show you how to build a business, create a business, but what happens many times, if not most times, is people become an employee of their own business.
Yes.
Versus thinking long term, like, wait a second, before I start this, what is the lifestyle for myself and my family that we want to live? And then making business decisions that are only going to support that journey. So it's really important when you're building any business to create it that's going to support a lifestyle, and then not get stuck in the trap that I was in many years of having to cram something around your business, which is a framework, once again, the mindset that we kind of grow up with. So it's very, very doable. You just have to change your mindset and thinking and only be making decisions that are going to allow you to grow your business in a way that will support your lifestyle.
Yeah. And kids, that's such a great lesson for you to learn. I know both of you are starting businesses. Do you want to share a little bit about what you're creating before we wrap up?
Well,
I don't have anything much yet.
What's the topic? What's the area of interest?
Definitely entrepreneurial.
Well, we started.
You're doing a lot.
You can share a little bit. Oh, sadly, we're just getting started. But part of it is getting their branding and authority, building their branding and social stuff out as well. Actually, starting maybe their own kids' podcasts.
Cool.
We're looking into maybe even some membership things for them. Cody, you started. We haven't finished it yet. But e-commerce.
E-commerce, yeah.
Very cool.
And we got Cody working my business a little bit. But sadly, we're still working through all of it. But do you think you'll ever have a regular job?
No, never.
That was a resounding no. Like immediate.
Especially since you're going to be on a vacation for a week. It's like, only a week?
So,
awesome. Well, I want to round out. If there's nothing else that you want to share, and you're more than welcome to share. And I know somebody just joined us as well. We're with the Winging It family down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and they have been traveling for 3.5 years with a family, building businesses. If you want tips and tricks on how to do that, you can definitely follow Roy Meyer TV that I've got on screen right now on his Instagram channel. And he also has an amazing group. I believe, Roy, it's called, what do we call Lifestyle Insiders on Facebook. So you want to check that out as well. And then I have one final question here for the Winging It family. I'm going to put that back up on screen. You definitely want to follow them on Instagram as well. One final question is, and this is for everybody, and it's kind of a serious question. Like, what would you have missed out on if you didn't take this leap, this courageous leap of faith? What would you have missed out on?
Sam, you want to go first, or you want? So what would
you have missed out on?
You go first, and then just be thinking about what would you have missed out on. That's a great question.
One of the things that just came to mind is definitely meeting a variety of people.
Yeah.
I've made many friends around the world that I wouldn't have met probably in the U.S.
Yeah.
And you just get such a different experience.
Yeah.
outside of the U.S.
That's great.
For me, we're watching skydivers.
Yeah.
We're on the beach, so there's skydivers going down. So it's very distracting right now. Sorry.
That's so cool. I know. I wish the viewers could see that view. I saw it earlier. It's an amazing view. So a little distraction from the skydivers.
We've got dolphins over here. We've got a whole lot of going on right there in the ocean.
Oh, that's awesome.
For me, as far as what I would have missed out on, being a little bit more open-minded. We call ourselves the Winging It family because we are truly winging it around the world. But when we had our home and everything was on a schedule and everything was just right, and it was nice for that part of our life. But now we have to be more flexible. Roy has this thing where he says, okay, we've got to embrace, because things aren't always peaches and roses and all wonderful all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anywhere, but for us, we just have to be more open-minded, embrace the good and the bad, and just know that it's all part of the learning experience. So before we even got on, you were introducing us, and you were saying there are pros, and then you said, well, they're still learning. But I'm glad you said that, because we learn something in every country that we're in, and every day we're learning something.
Yeah.
New. We love it. I mean, I can't imagine having a normal life.
Got it.
This is normal.
This
This is our normal.
Sammy, what about you? Anything that you would have missed if we'd never taken off on this?
Another way to ask that is, what are you most grateful for that you have? Because you did say yes. But either way, go ahead, Sam.
I would have missed out on all the adventures that we've done and
Yeah.
all the fun things that we've done.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
I think for me, Clinton, we talked about this before, but not living with regrets. I think I would have still been lived with, like, gosh, what would our life have been if I had actually done that? What would my life have been like if I really would have taken our family on this venture, rather than living with regret and always having that wonder? So, that would be something really that was a driving force for us as well. And then the other thing that I think I would have really missed is just watching the growth in our kids.
Yeah.
And actually all of us for that matter, but experiencing people and cultures and societies, watching their eyes that are just open and to what's going on in this incredible world. We get so much with these blinders on, which I had for a long time in the US, that this world's a fascinating place, and there are fascinating people here, and they are no different than us. Just want to have a better life, provide for their families, enjoy life, have fun. And so I think the biggie for me would have been just not having them have this experience, because I know this is going to help to shape them in the future. And then just one final point, if I could, Clinton.
Please.
What you hear a lot of, and we hear a lot of, and we meet a lot of travelers, like, we want to travel before we have kids. We want to get all this traveling before we have kids, because once you have kids, you can't do this. And we can tell you that what we've learned along this way is there's no reason you can't travel with children and have the same amazing experience. As a perfect example, Sammy has done full-time gymnastics. Cody has been taking guitar lessons. Cody has been in a couple soccer leagues and playing soccer, and we've done all kinds of other things that you don't think you can do, but you can still have this amazing family journey, and it's very, very doable. But we do hear that a lot, that we got to travel before we have children. And it's definitely something I think is actually better served when you have children, if that's something you're thinking to do. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. But
No, that makes a ton of sense. And you're right. Everybody always says that. So it's really great to hear that it's been an even more enriching experience with traveling with kids. And I love what all of you have shared. I have so many more questions for you, but I know it's long. I know you've got the door shut so that we don't hear all the waves, and it's probably getting hot, and you've been there for an hour. So I just appreciate your time. And I want to ask, how can people follow you? How can people learn more about you? How can they support you? What are the things that you want to share in closing here? And then any last things you want to say in closing, I'd love to hear from all of you. Anything else you want to share?
Just
on the Instagram page, the Winging It Family Instagram. So maybe we can put a link in there so they can.
Yep, we got that one coming across the screen now. The Winging It Family right there.
Perfect. We're also on Facebook. And just real quick, thank you so much. We've been interviewed a few times, and I think you had some amazing questions.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
intriguing.
great.
I love the questions you asked. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And you guys want to share in closing?
No, just this is nice. I'm glad we got to do this.
Share.
Awesome. How about we go around with one word, and we're going to put up Roy's page as well. Definitely follow Roy Meyer TV on Instagram. Check out his Lifestyle Insiders on Facebook. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, family man, and you're wondering, how do I do this? And what are the tips and tricks that I need to know? And then, of course, as we've already mentioned, follow the Winging It family on Instagram as well. Let's go around with one word. I do this with my nieces every Thursday. What is the one word? And they give me a lot more than one word, so you can give me more than one if you want. One word that you are the most grateful for right now in your life. What is that word for each of you?
Family.
Family. Love it, Sam. What else? What would you say, Cody?
Food.
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 So,
All right.
Cody, tell them your order of importance in your life.
Okay.
Food,
I
family,
have the
fun.
3 F's: food, family, and fun.
In that order?
I don't like to admit that.
That's great. Okay. What about Carrie?
Opportunity comes to mind.
Opportunity. Love it. Yeah. Love it. Love it. And Roy?
Without question, for me, it's family. I mean, just the opportunity that we get to do this together, have this journey together, and yeah, without question.
Well, the Winging It family, Carrie, Sam, Cody, Roy, you are inspiring thousands and thousands of people. I know your Facebook page has like 60-something thousand followers or likes, and you're creating a ripple effect so huge all around the world, beyond all the numbers on social media. Every single person you come in contact with, this goes to the kids as well, you are creating a ripple in their lives that you'll never even see. But you're making a massive impact and you're inspiring a lot of people, myself included. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that watching you has inspired me to take my leap into the Club Freedom Live journey across the US in our RV. So I want to thank you very much. Any way that I can support you in the future, please do let me know. And I look forward to building our relationship going forward. So thanks again for being here today.
Awesome. And we can't wait to follow your journey.
Yeah.
So we're really excited.
July, right?
Yes, July, we're taking off. All right. And I just said it on camera again, so it's happening. All right. So hang on for a second to end the broadcast. Thanks again, Club Freedom Live. Make sure you do follow us at Club Freedom Live, and we'll talk to you in a bit. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.